Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington,
I'm Samba Bachili,
Nina Vaca, Chief Executive Officer of Pinnacle Group.
an original shark from the hit TV show Shark Tank.
CEO of ADS Group.
The largest Latina-owned workforce solutions in America.
I first identified myself as an entrepreneur when I was 15 years old.
My mother and father immigrated here with a suitcase and a dream. I had a front row seat to entrepreneurship. I am living proof of what is possible in this country.
Today, the marketplace is very tough.
The challenge for African market today is its access to capital.
The number one reason why we can't scale as entrepreneurs is access to capital.
What makes Glow so different and so powerful is the access to experts, gurus, mentors, coaches, financiers, venture people, money.
When I started my business, I immediately went to engage with different communities, different platforms. Glow makes that experience digital. A digital platform makes it so much faster and so much easier for you to meet like-minded people.
The financial platform that Glow have that make Glow unique.
Glow is about commerce, Glow is about community, and Glow is about having access to capital.
Glow is an asset to every entrepreneur in this country and globally.
It's about helping you take your business, your idea to the next step.
Hello and welcome to Business Acceleration 2.0. This is the show where leaders go to grow. We bring you some of the top best-selling authors, thought leaders, industry experts, celebrity CEOs here on this show so that you as the entrepreneur can continue to grow as a business leader and grow your business. It's sponsored by the Global Leaders Organization, or GLOW as we like to call it. And GLOW is based on 4 pillars. The first pillar is community. Because as an entrepreneur, it's lonely at the top, and it's important to have your peer-to-peer network surrounding you so you can go to them and ask questions and learn from one another. The second C that the organization is built on is commerce. Because as an entrepreneur, you've got to continue to grow that business by actually doing transactions. Imagine that. So Glow has a marketplace where you can put up your company's products and services, promote them and advertise to all the other members around the world. And then the thing that makes Glow really unique is the capital component. If you're looking to raise capital, whether it be debt or equity, Glow is here to help assist you. We can help you find that right capital at the right time. And then the final C that the organization is built on, the fourth pillar, is content, which is why you're here today, content. You're going to be hearing the story of an amazing man, Dr. Nido Qubein, who came to the United States with only $50 in his pocket. He was a teenager. He barely spoke any English, and you're going to hear his amazing journey of success. So actually, since you're here, let's just jump right into it. Dr. Nido Qubein, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I'm delighted to be with you, and I always love talking with entrepreneurs. They make the world go round.
They do make the world go round, and we're doing everything that we can do to help them too. So Nido, your story is fascinating. I mean, you've gone on, like I said just a moment ago, you arrived in the United States with only $50 in your pocket, and now you're the president of a leading university, you're the chairman of a national retail chain. I mean, it's an amazing story that you've got. So I know you've got tons of content to share with us, but let's jump right in and start with your personal story. Did you always know that you were going to be an entrepreneur?
Oh gosh, I don't know, Michelle. That was long ago. What I do know is that I was created for a purpose. I know that I grew up in a home where my father died when I was 6 years of age. My mom was fourth grade educated, but she learned to become a seamstress, and she made money to feed us and clothe us. And she always instilled in us values for living and principles for life. So my mother would say to me things like this: if you're going to be a great person, you must first walk hand in hand and side by side with great people. She would say, who you spend time with is who you become. So I was always attracted to people who had a vision and who knew how to follow a strategy and who knew how to execute through thick and thin, who were agile, flexible, had grit. And I guess somewhere along the line, I caught the bug. I'm an entrepreneurial thinker first and foremost, and therefore I'm an entrepreneurial doer. And there are qualities, as you well know, that separate people like that from others who have strengths, but perhaps in different areas. And I came to this country because I believe the American dream is alive and well, and I define it as the achievement of your own goals. I don't define it as making money or having a big house or a big boat. Otherwise, how do you argue with a person who goes to college to become a teacher? He or she knows they're going to be a third grade teacher. They're going to be overworked, underpaid. But to them, that's the American dream. So I was always in pursuit of this American dream. I'm proud that my life has been both successful and significant. The latter is more important than the former. And I have the highest regard for entrepreneurs who have an idea or take a risk, work hard, make it happen, and maybe along the way, make a little profit and reinvest it in good ways.
I love that, Nido. Okay, so look, as an entrepreneur, life is not always easy. And I know that you've had ups and downs as you're starting out, right? And we all have. You've got some strategies to succeed during these difficult times. I mean, we all just came out of COVID, which was extremely difficult for a lot of the members we have at Glow. What are some of your tips or strategies to persevere and to succeed through the difficult times?
Well, it's all about mindset, Michelle. I mean, it's all about having a mindset that says, yes, adversity will cross our path. We know that. The question is, what do you do with it? It's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. So I say out of adversity can emerge abundance. There was a great recession in 08, 09. I mean, it was the most disrupted economic times in the last 90 years or so of America's history. And as president of Highpoint University, I said, this is a great time to build, to construct, to grow, to promote, because everybody else was seemingly asleep, thinking, oh, woe is me, the world is coming to an end. But then remember, I'm an immigrant to America, so an immigrant sees the good in America. I understand that America is not a perfect country, but it is an excellent country. Perfection should never be our goal. Excellence should be our goal. So out of difficult times can emerge enormous opportunities. The problem, Michelle, is that so many people choose not to change. For the timid, change is frightening. For the comfortable, change is threatening. But listen, for the confident, change is opportunity. And I think the question then becomes, where does one get confidence from? It only comes from one place, competence. So when you're competent, when you have knowledge, skill, and experience, and you're channeled in the right way, and you're always flexible, always learning, then you deserve to be confident. And when you're confident, you can commit to something. And when you commit to something worthwhile, then you can lose yourself in delivering on it, in executing it. And so for me, there really isn't any academic strategies for all of this. It's common sense. Look, what are you going to do? Sit in the corner and cry and have a pity party that is endless? Or do you want to say, I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to get myself going again. And I'm going to learn from my productive failures. I'm going to celebrate my successes. And I believe that the tomorrows of my life will be better than the yesterdays of my life. That's an attitude. It's a way of thinking. It's really an expression of gratitude for having the opportunity in the first place to be an entrepreneur.
I'm just curious, Nido, you and I have known each other for a long time. And I met you in the speaking industry, right? From the speaking world. Do you think that you've gotten your attitude through knowing and hearing so many of the great speakers that you and I have both heard? Or were you born that way with your mother feeding you the information?
I don't think any of us is ever born with the qualities that we need to succeed in life, right? Because life is a moving target. I do think we are influenced measurably by the circles in which we choose to reside. So I think when we read the right books, attend the right seminars, subscribe to the right services, hang around the right people, then I do think that influences our life in a very measurable way that impacts our thinking and impacts, therefore, the way we act. Yes, I've been a professional speaker for a long time. I've given 7,500 presentations across the world. I do think that has helped me measurably in understanding people and recognizing that the only way to persuade is to create the right emotion in others. In other words, how must this person feel first? So this person will do what I need them to do, not to manipulate. but to communicate and connect and inform in such a way that we're persuasive. And the only way we can do that is to understand other people's fears, needs, goals, and aspirations. And somehow along the pathway of life, through thick and thin, uphills, downhills, and straight lines, I've learned through some successes and some failures that what we really must focus on is relational capital. Who do you know? Who knows you? And how are you positioned in their minds? Because it's all about positioning. It's all about positioning. If people trust you, they'll do business with you. If people respect you, people want to be around you and learn from you. So in all of our pursuing in life, we ought to really think about those things. An entrepreneur who has a repetitive high level of performance is someone who is keenly aware of these principles and thoughtfully focused on improving them in their life every day.
Such great wisdom, Nido. You talk about in some of your presentations about how to get high productivity out of your employees, right? So that you can have high profitability in your company. Are there some techniques that you'd use to work with some of your employees to do such?
Yes, I think, Michelle, first and foremost, we have to have three ingredients, all of us. If we want to get efficiency and productivity, if we want to be people of influence and impact, if we want to find success in all that we do, if we want to leave an impression on people that is meaningful and purposeful so they want to do business with us again, then I think we have to, if not master, we at least have to have a significant level of comprehension of these three things. Number one is judgment.
Mm-hmm.
How do you teach judgment? How do you get someone to really make good judgments? So number one is judgment. Number two is awareness, being thoughtfully aware about the people around you, about the opportunities that lie ahead of you, about the areas you must strengthen, about the similarities and differences we have with others. Awareness. How do you teach awareness? And the third one is relevance, not in the common way that all of us use the word relevance. Every speaker talks about relevance. But relevance isn't about what I say. It isn't about what I think. It is about how I can hold your hands and move onward and forward with you so you can achieve your goals in life. So you can get to a destination in life that you feel good about. If I could be your partner in helping you do that, you want to do business with me in every way. You want to buy my product, you want to buy my services, you want to invite me into your circle of influence, and so on. So relational capital is very important. The reputational capital and financial capital and educational capital and physical capital, they're all important. But ultimately, life becomes truly meaningful, and happiness resides in our souls when we acknowledge, the words of William Barclay always said, always give without remembering, always receive without forgetting. When we acknowledge that 1/3 of our life perhaps ought to be invested in earning, 1/3 of our life ought to be invested in learning, just what you do, Michelle, through your organization, and 1/3 of our life ought to be invested in serving. It is when we truly focus on helping others that life begins to reward us in a continuum.
Wait, I want to go back. So how do you teach judgment? Because I think that's a difficult thing, even with children, trying to teach your children on how to
Teach it.
have
You don't
discernment.
teach it.
You
You
don't.
don't teach it. Here's how judgment is gathered and garnered in someone's life. You live, they watch, they learn. It's all through modeling. I mean, of course, you can have a class on judgment. Of course, I can run someone through a decision-making process, problem-solving process. There's steps to all of that. But true judgment is learned through modeling, through observing how others effect and affect what they do every day. And so, can you learn it? Of course you can learn it. But it has to be in a continuum. Judgment is not a program. It doesn't have a beginning and an end. It's a process. It has a beginning, it has no end. My judgment has to be reapplied, reframed, reconnected in ways that are persistently related to the people I'm with and the needs that I'm trying to fulfill and the environments in which I'm trying to bring some bring forth some goodwill. So that's how you do it. You do it through modeling. It is imperative that we walk the talk, not just talk about it, but walk it, live it. And people are observant. People watch and they learn. I think that trial and error, of course, we learn judgment, right? We fail, we analyze our productive failures, and we go, next time I'm going to be more careful. So that's another way we get judgment, but that's an expensive way. I'd rather have heroes, models, and mentors who permeate my life, my very existence. And then through them and with them, I can achieve so much. And throughout my life, Michelle, I hung around people who were smarter than me, who were more influencing than me, and who were older than me. And I understood that, someone said, your income in life is the average of the sum total of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Just remove the word income out, put the word attitude. Remove the word attitude out, put the word energy. Remove the word energy out, put the word reputation. It applies. The people we spend the most time with are the people who are going to influence us. And you know what? I want to have a circle of influence with friends like you and others who are smart and who can educate my mind, of course, but also affect my heart and my soul in all of my goings and my comings. And then just sort of what you find is the better your circle of influence, the smaller your circle of concerns becomes.
Oh, that's so good, Nido. Hope everyone's taking notes right now. Okay, Nido, so a question for you that's come up from one of our members is you talk about change, and we've got many members that are running their own businesses, and they've been, trying to make it work, and they're looking at it saying, do I just keep pounding the payments and trying to make this work? Or where do I look to when I should change? When should the ball drop where I go, wait a minute, I need to do this differently, or this isn't working, stop and move to something else?
I mean, you're describing my life. Look, I came to this country with $50. I had to learn the language. I went to undergrad and grad school, and then I started my first company at age 23 at $500. I worked 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're not going to be a great entrepreneur unless you work hard and work smart and analyze your every move and say, how can I make it better next time? I don't go to sleep at night without asking myself this question: what did I learn today? I did not know yesterday. And so it is a constant and consistent process. The best entrepreneurs I know are the ones who are both reasonable and reasoned, and therefore their judgment is good. Therefore, their activities inure wonderful and profitable outcomes. But look, I think at the end of the day, we all have to acknowledge that life is not easy. That, in fact, we know this about sales, right? We know that 50% of America's salespeople will make one call on a qualified prospect. The prospect says no, they give up. 17% make 2 calls, 8% make 3 calls, 5% make 5 and make 4 calls, and then they give up. But 20% of America's salespeople, and therefore entrepreneurs, will make 5 or more calls, and they close 80% of America's sales. Now, I don't know how accurate that number is. I don't know if that's empirical data or not. What I care about is the consciousness of that point, that persistence is powerful. However, persistence in the absence of the following 4 points is to not. Perhaps it's foolish. Keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again without analytics, without dissection of the facts, without having both a telescopic and a microscopic approach to your business, without being incisive in the way you think. That's not going to lead you anywhere meaningful. Or if you do make it, it's going to take more money, more time, more energy, and maybe you burn some relationships along the way. So here are the 4 points. Number 1, we have to have a clear vision. Michelle, as you know, I consult with a lot of businesses. I'm president of Highpoint University. I personally started and sold 6 different businesses. And some I did spectacularly well, and some others I just barely made it. In one of them, I failed. So I've been around the block a few times, and I learned that so many entrepreneurs do not take the time to precisely define their vision. In other words, if I say to someone, why are you doing what you're doing? And listen to what they say. Can they say it in 10, 15 words and it makes sense to everybody? That's what I mean by clear vision. Second one is a solid strategy. Where are we? Where do we want to go? How are we going to get there? But then ask some more questions. What might keep us from getting there? What are the resources that we need to get there? Who do I need around me to guide me? You know, the most important investment you'll ever make in your life is investing in yourself. Not investing in others, but investing in yourself. Becoming a better person, a better thinker, a better solution finder, and so on. The third one is practical systems. Some entrepreneurs get so emotionally engaged in what they want to do that they forget that practical and pragmatic thinking and therefore action, this is important. And last, of course, is consistent execution. And maybe that's the spirit of the question your member just asked, is do I stick with it regardless of whatever happens? And the answer is maybe. I don't know the answer without knowing more about the circumstances. I do know that there are times when you just have to persist, stay with it, till you learn it. I learned the English language by putting 10 English words on this 3x5 card today, memorizing the spelling and meaning of those 10 words. Tomorrow, another card, 10 more words. Next day, another card, 10 more words, reviewing the words before that. Today, you know, I speak English in a fluent and flowing manner because I worked hard to get there, because that was a priority for me, because I asked people how best to learn that. And so I committed myself to get that action. But sometimes you have to realign, you have to change, you have to transform, you have to flex. Depends on the input. Every one of us ought to have a board of directors, maybe not literally, but people you can talk with. Sometimes they're your coach and you pay them a fee to do that. Sometimes it's a membership. It's a group like yours that I can buy these services. I can shortcut the pathway to success and so on. And so it depends. It depends whether you stick with it. But if you repeatedly fail at something, you need to take a step back, take a recess to reassess.
Completely agree with you. Okay, you brought this up, and I was going to move into this portion of our discussion on buying and selling businesses. A lot of our members build companies and sell them, and a lot of our members would like to sell their companies. Any words of advice on building a business and selling it?
I have been party through my membership on large corporate boards. I serve on 5 large corporate boards. The 5th largest financial institution in the country, for example, the 2nd largest furniture company in the world, and so on. And through those activities, I have been party to many acquisitions, you know, where you acquire companies to expand and to have a bigger footprint. And here's the answer to your question. You must learn the fundamentals. You've got to look at a business and say, these are the 3 fundamentals. And based on that, I can do the following things. So anytime somebody wants to buy your business, they're looking at the fundamentals. One of them is financial. You know, are you performing well, and so on and so forth. Another one is where you fit in that sector. Does your company have a promising future? Another one is management. You know, if you're the only one, you're a solo entrepreneur and you sell the company and you walk, the buyer might think, how do I run this business when this guy is gone? So this is a bigger discussion for us today, but it's a powerful discussion. Large companies will never buy and sell unless they invite the wisdom and the expertise of the experts. The difference between experts and those who are not is that the experts have their knowledge in order. So always learn from the experts. The experts know that the A comes before the B comes before the C, and so on. Many other people think they know the stuff. They do know stuff, but it's not in order. They have not compartmentalized it. They have not stratified it. They have not figured it out based on fundamentals. Therefore, they make big mistakes. But if you're going to build a business, you have to think about the 3 V's, the letter V as in value. The first letter is viability. You have a viable business? I mean, is it real? Will it continue tomorrow and the next year and the next year? Will it be in demand? Is it a viable business? The second one is volatility. What might cause your business to lose value? The third one is vitality. Do you have a product, a service, a team, associates, a marketplace, a customer base that has a sense of vitality about you? They're zestful about doing business with you. So when you build a business, you have to make sure that it is replicatable. So I owned a business, for example, called Great Harvest Bread Company. We had 240 stores. So obviously it was a franchise organization. So it had to be systemized in a way that someone could come in and take the franchise and run it with help from corporate and so on. Don't follow just your passion. That's not really good advice. You have to understand the difference between value and appreciated value. So everybody renders value. Sometimes it's good value, sometimes it's mediocre value. That's not the point at all. An entrepreneur who really wants to go uphill, who wants to achieve greatness in what they do, is an entrepreneur who understands that he or she must render appreciated value. Appreciated value means the value that you render is deeply appreciated by the receiver. See, you can render value, I just don't need it. Therefore, you telling me that you render value is meaningless. But if you give me something I really want, it's going to improve my life, it's going to move me forward, and I seek it from you, then I'm willing to pay you the price. I'm willing to come back, do business with you again and again. So Great Harvest, for example, has a very healthy product, breads and muffins and so on, made with the finest ingredients, etc. So the appreciated value is that the customer who loves her family is going to buy our product. But someone who doesn't care about healthy bread, they just go buy bread much cheaper somewhere else. And so that's the name of the game, right? Is to make sure that you're building something that has a future.
Okay, so with regards, I know you've invested in businesses as well. So taking those the three V's that you just said in regards to value and the others, then how important is it that you're looking at the team, specifically the entrepreneur, the CEO, the one that's leading it? How important is that factor?
Well, that's exceptionally important because every business has three P's, right? So you've got the product, you got the process, and you got the person. So the people. So the people drive the process. The people create the product. So if you don't have the right management, if you don't have the right person at the top, if you don't have people who really deeply, passionately believe in your business, who deeply, passionately believe that serving your clients is our number one goal, and therefore we have to constantly be in research mode and development mode and growth mode. If you start believing your own PR, you will lose. And so it is imperative that you surround yourself with the right people. As you said, Michelle, I was in business for a long time. I still have many interests in a number of businesses. And I became president of Highpoint University, my undergraduate alma mater in Highpoint, North Carolina. Now listen to this. I took a school that had only 18 buildings and built 108 buildings on top of that. A school that had 91 acres landlocked, couldn't go anywhere, to a school today we have 540 acres. A school that had 1,400 students, today we have 6,000. A school that had only 3 academic programs, today we have 11, including difficult ones like law and dental medicine and so on. A school that nobody's ever heard of, to a school today that people come from all over the world and all over the country to it. A school that was ranked so low, today ranked number 1 among best colleges in the South, according to U.S. News and World Report and according to Princeton Review. Well, what happened? Well, what happened is we created appreciated value. What happened is we took away all the irritants of doing business with us. What happened is we added wow to the experience, right? And built this phenomenal, you got to see the school to really appreciate it. It is an incredible, incredible place. We get about 100,000 inquiries here every year, about 15,000 applications for a class of 1,500. And what we did is we followed these principles that I attained in my own life as a business person, as an entrepreneurial business person, and applied them in an educational academy, respected the protocol of the academy, that's the Mona Lisa, but took liberties with the frame we put around it. And the magic is in the mix, my friend. It just took off. And every client I work with, I tell them, you got to look at the Mona Lisa and you got to look at the frame around it. And you got to feed both. And you got to keep always your focus on your customer and your client. The profits will follow, trust me. I've been exceptionally successful in my life, blessed beyond my wildest dreams. I mean, Michelle, I still get a lot of people ask me to speak. And I've been in this business 50 years. And most of my friends who are in this business with me are gone, or don't have demand in the marketplace. So it is about understanding positioning, it's understanding appreciated value. And frankly, it's about being good to work with and easy to do business with.
Well, you just summed it up right there, Nido. So tell us now, what's next for Nido Qubein? Dr. Nido Qubein, what's next?
Well, I just turned 74, but I fortunately or otherwise, I have the energy of a 30-year-old. I'm more creative and more innovative than I've ever been before in my life. I have more passion and more desire than I've ever had before in my life. And may I say to you, with all humility aside, I think I'm smarter than I've ever been. Michelle, I bet you feel that way. I think through the journey of life, we accumulate knowledge and experience and wisdom. Everybody wants to talk about AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Well, let me tell you something. There may be artificial intelligence, i.e. technology and so on. There is no such thing as artificial wisdom. You've got to garner that and build that through your reputational career and through making good things happen. So I'm president of Highpoint University. I've been president 18 years.
Wow.
And I still consult with major companies. I still on 5 corporate boards. I still speak to large audiences across the country. What's next for me? I want to make sure that this university is sustainably outstanding. And every day, we feed it in appropriate ways to make sure that that happens. And our people, our parents, and our students love this place, and that gives me a tremendous amount of satisfaction. But I'll tell you what's next for me, Michelle. I want to continually grow. I want to be a man of purpose. I want to be a person who brings value and appreciate value to every circle I find myself in, every place I choose to reside, every person I associate with. I don't think I want to die with the music in me. And there's a lot of music in me. And I want to work smart and hard, diligently and thoughtfully to ensure that the remaining years of my life will be measured not by awards and money and fans, fame, and fortune, but be measured by my friends and my family and my faith, and measured by the influence that you bring to every environment you find yourself in and the impact that you leave behind. Hopefully it's sound impact, useful impact, and one that others can appreciate and put forth in their own lives to propel them onward and forward.
Well, I think, Nido, you're definitely leaving a legacy already in what you've done with Highpoint, and it's amazing. I've had 3 kids go through college just recently. Highpoint was actually on their list too. So, and we had a lot of their friends ended up going to Highpoint. So I am aware of Highpoint, and you've done a great job there. What a great legacy. And just the way that you touch others, Nido, with your words of wisdom. So I want to say thank you very much for being here with us today. What a great half hour we just spent. Thank you so much.
Michelle, you honored me with this invitation, and thank you for all the good that you're doing in our world.
Appreciate it. So next week, be sure to tune in for Business Acceleration 2.0, where you can come and grow. Thanks so much. Stay safe.